Hello everybody. So this is why I didn't have any morning videos, because this morning we had a game on. So I think most people know that. In Montreal, this is odd. I think Ottawa played a better game today against Montreal than they did in the last game, and yet the result goes the other way. So Ottawa didn't fold in this one, and for Montreal, the offense, they've had 4 goals now over their last 2 games. Then that's because they're not playing Vancouver. So that's a big difference. Reverse retro night, or afternoon, I guess, for the Senators. Murray versus Allen. Post for the Habs at 2.5 minutes. Murray then robbed Danault. So Matt Murray has another very good game today for the Ottawa Senators. Shots were 3-1 for the Habs 4 minutes in. They get a power play and they score on it. And it's Jeff Petrie with his league leading, at least for defensemen, 6th goal at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. Absolutely crazy how well Petrie's got off to this start this year. We'll see how far that goes. The Habs pressed in 8 minutes. The shots were 7-3 in their favor halfway through this game. Well, halfway through the period. Halfway through the game, things had changed. Senators get a power play and they score on it. So the Senators, whose power play had been abysmal against Montreal, not too shabby. It's Colin White getting a much-needed goal from Stepan and Norris at 12:08. And the hitting started to pick up at this stage, and the hitting stayed pretty regular through the rest of the game. There's a power play for the Habs before the first period's over. They don't score on it, and we go to the second period with the score tied at 1. Murray denied Gallagher early, as Matt Murray showed, hey, I'm still dialed in. I'm good. The Habs were in control early in the period. Shots were 6-2 in their favor at 3 minutes. So Montreal bound and determined to go ahead in this one. Chances both ways at the 7.5 minute mark, and then the Senators end up with a power play. Toffoli had a shorthanded chance that went wide. Senators pressure. Allen makes some saves at the other end. So both goaltenders very prominent in this game. This would have been a high-scoring game if not for how strong the goaltending was at both ends of the rink. Another Senators power play results not too long after that. And then the Habs, after killing that one off, a lot of high sticks today, and some of it's not really intentional, but they're high sticks. You got to watch your stick. You got to watch, too, when a guy knocks your stick into his own face. But anyways, Senators go back to the power play. We'll talk about that in a minute here. Post for the Senators during their power play. Shorthanded break by Lehtinen. So another, or Lehkonen, sorry. It's Lehkonen. Can't leave that on there. So shorthanded break by Lehkonen, who is lethal shorthanded. If he played with Toby Reeder, just imagine, shorthanded, and maybe throw in. There's a couple other guys you could throw in there. But yeah, so Weber shot wide, and so we go to the third period, and it is still tied at 1 until Josh Anderson, Suzuki, and Drouin show up with assists on this one at 1:35. What it was is Montreal just digging at the net and Ottawa not able to clear it. So that was the third opportunity on that play. And so Drouin and Suzuki end up with the assists only because Anderson's the one that buried it, not because there was all kinds of tremendous passing going on. But for Suzuki, he continues to have a strong start. Anderson now 1 goal behind Toffoli for the team lead. He currently has 8. And what a story for the Montreal Canadiens this guy's been. So 2-1 lead. And then the Senators tried to answer in their defense. For a team that came into today 2-8-1, Ottawa didn't play like a team that's out of it. Ottawa played like a team that feels like they're still in this, that it's still early in the season. Petrie then minus a stick. The Senators pressed. Petrie would get his stick back, however. And I thought the Senators had played better than they did in the last game. Brady Tkachuk was very prominent for all the reasons Brady Tkachuk is usually prominent. And Stützle had a very good game as well, although neither of them end up on the board with a point. Evans got hit by Goodbranson. Now, I know there's going to be people that are upset about the hit. I'm going to go ahead and agree with the commentators on this. It was primary point of contact to the chest. Evans would eventually come back to the game. I don't see any kind of any kind of issue with that hit. I think that hit's going to be fine. Allen was holding the lead for the Habs in that third period. Ottawa was pushing really hard. It was Jake Allen that was holding on to that lead. Evans returned in the final 5 minutes. So again, if anybody's concerned about could something happen, not likely because Evans doesn't even miss the whole period, much less the whole game. Power play then for the Senators, and Tkachuk leads the league. Brady Tkachuk leads the league in having drawn 15 penalties. So that's where an agitator comes in really handy. It's when a guy makes the other team so angry and so upset that he makes them take a penalty. It's something that, whether you like or don't like guys like Lucic, Marchand, or the Tkachuk brothers, they can do that. They can draw penalties from the other team. Chabot then takes a penalty to make it 4-on-4, and it was not a good penalty by Thomas Chabot, who had to be upset with himself on that one because it really ended any chance of a comeback for Ottawa. The Senators called a last-minute timeout. I think that was with 57 seconds left. Allen then stopped a chance for Chabot with about 13 and a half seconds left. And then with 2 seconds left, not that it mattered, but the Habs end up taking a penalty. Stützle was the victim on this, as he was a victim of a high stick earlier on. And you could see that Montreal was upset, and the announcer said, well, they're upset with the call, but this is a clear penalty. No. What Montreal was upset about twice in this game was they felt that Tim Stützle was embellishing to try to get a call. And I'm not going to say whether he was or wasn't, but the fact that twice you saw Montreal Canadian players rolling their eyes and laughing as they're taking a penalty and Stützle's down, they clearly feel that this rookie is playing it off. And whether he was or wasn't, again, we'll see. We'll see whether or not this is a theme, because these teams are going to see each other a lot. This is the second of 10 meetings. Montreal now is 8-2-2. They did escape a scare today. Ottawa drops to 2-9-1, but they're bringing their goals against down, so that's something, right? Their goals against has been abysmal, so at least they're allowing fewer goals. The shots in this one, all Montreal in the first, 19-8, but in the second and third, Ottawa asserts themselves, 13-7 in the second, 14-6 in the third. Final shots, 35-32 for the Sens. Power plays, Montreal goes 1 for 3, and Ottawa 1 for 5. But again, Ottawa does score on the power play, and that's a key thing, is that Ottawa's power play is getting the odd goal here and there. The hits were 26-25 for Ottawa in a pretty physical matchup between these two teams. Giveaways hurt Ottawa in this game, so I thought I'd throw them on the board. The final total for giveaways, 18-8 in favor of the Senators. Faceoffs, that did favor Ottawa. So I heard the mention again. They talked about Suzuki and Johnson. Mike Johnson, who's the color guy on TSN, is like, well, I don't want to compare him to Bergeron, but, and he mentions all the Bergeron comparisons, but the one thing that I will say Suzuki has to work on in order for people to go, wow, he really is like a new version of Bergeron, it has to be the faceoffs. So the fact that Montreal's not winning enough faceoffs, that's going to be a detractor when it comes to Suzuki's game. But he had another good game, and he ends up with a point again today. So, yeah, the points are there. Everything is there. It's a matter of working on the faceoffs. Jake Allen saved 34 out of 35. I would say he is Seattle Kraken bound for sure. I did have to kind of chuckle today when I heard the panel in between periods saying that Allen, I think it was Pierre LeBrun that said Allen and Holtby are likelies for Seattle. I don't know that Braden Holtby's a likely for Seattle right now. And Matt Murray, 30 saves on 32 shots. So both goaltenders played really well. If this is Jake Allen's only year in Montreal before Caden Primo becomes the backup next year, he's doing very well for himself. And it's giving Montreal something that they've needed. 2 solid goaltenders. So there you go. The Habs get the win, so I figured I'd wear their reverse retro since Ottawa wore theirs and didn't end up winning that. But hey, let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.